Hello, my name is Warren Wood. Thank you for joining me today. Of course, we'll be talking about creativity. Is this an innate talent or can this possibly be? Let's go over some myths about creativity. Creativity is a result of talent. Apparently, this is not true. Of course, talent can help, just like if you're born and you grow to be 7 foot tall, you might be a little better off than guys 5'6" to play basketball. But talent is not the only thing that matters. Of course, a little hard work can help too. Creativity is mainly associated with arts. While people in arts are creative, creativity stems to all aspects of life. Children are more creative than adults. I think the truth is that creative are less bashful than adults and really are not worried about judgment, and they're kind of learning what they're getting into. Whereas we get older, we're a little more worried about what people may think, and so it comes off as children are more creative, but apparently that's not the case. Creativity is the same thing as originality. That is also a myth. Creativity cannot be taught. That is a myth as well. Creativity can be taught. It is something is learned. So if you are not creative at all, it's okay. There's hope. Facts. Creativity is the result of hard work. We already covered this. Yes, that's true. While talent helps, hard work goes a long way. A lot of people that are born with some serious talent, but if they don't work at it all, they just become mediocre, pretty much. Creativity cuts across all areas of life. That is true. True creative achievement requires years of life experience. This makes sense to me. If you have no experience in a field, or if you just sit at home and scroll through social media all day, you're not going to be very creative. If you're out in the real world working, um, gaining experience, you're more likely to have ideas and thoughts and go through creative processes. Creativity is the intersection of novelty and usefulness. Creativity is not just an idea, it has to be useful. Creativity can be enhanced through training. That's right, hard work. What I learned about creativity that I did not know. I did not know that creativity is something people are just born with. That's what I was hoping. Hey, I'm just a creative all star. I was born with tons of talent. I'm going to have to do absolutely no work and I'm going to be awesome. Well, that's not entirely true, unfortunately. Although you can be born with some talent, you're going to have to work on it. It's not easy, but it can be done. You got to put in work like anything else in life. Uh, People who are at the top of their field put in work. Yes, talent helps, but it's a combination of some talent and a lot of hard work that is going to get you where you want to be in life, and that applies with creativity as well. And I think that really applies to any field or any area of life. Most surprising myth about creativity, um, to me, was that creativity cannot be taught. It can be. We already covered this. Um, I kind of thought, which I think a lot of people do, that people are just kind of born creative, and their brain functions different. You have the left side of the brain and the right side. I can never remember which does what, but one is about creativity, and you're just born with that, and that's the way it is. Well, again, that might be true to an extent, but it's not the end all be all. Again, I was just hoping I was a creative genius and I have nothing to learn. A plus, get on your way. That's not the case. Reality has set in. Maybe you can be born with talent and learn. Yeah, it's a good combination. Creativity is key for all businesses and aspects of life. Why is the above statement true? Well, it's true because the only element that is constant is that everything is always changing. And when things are changing, you're experiencing the unknown. So there's not a blueprint for you to follow when there's change because it's something you haven't experienced. So no matter what you're doing in life, the world is always changing, and creativity will undoubtedly help you in that. Um, there was a quote in the book, and the end of it basically, once internalized, creativity skills can be applied to all areas of life, and I believe that is again because everything is changing in life, whether we like it or not, and if you are creative and can use your problem solving and creative thinking skills, you will be much better. Creativity is the ability to adapt in an ever changing world. Well, let's look front and center how businesses had to adapt to COVID. Do you think anyone was prepared for that? You want to look at examples of changing and being creative in business. I mean, people are struggling right now. The restaurant business, any kind of entertainment business, um, whether we're going to keep employees in the office. If we're not, how are we going to get employees to work, and how are we going to get them to be productive? How are we going to, if we have to bring on people, how do we hire people, and how do we train them? Um, these are all things that we had to encounter in the last few months, in which obviously a creative a thinker would be much better off. An example of that to me that I thought of right away was the movie business. Obviously, theaters were totally shut down for an extended period of time. Um, so you had these movies that were just sitting that in which were finished products. Millions and millions of dollars have been spent, and they can't generate any revenue because they're not being released. Well, a couple examples that I personally know worked well. Trolls and Mulan were released early, although you still had to pay. Trolls, it was $20 for the rental, and Mulan it was 30. Trolls, I know we ended up buying it, so we paid $20 for the rental, $20 for the to buy it. That's $40, and it actually did really well. I know my brother they probably rented it 3 or 4 times, so they spent 50, $60 just on their own. I bet they bought it too. So that's two families right there. It's probably $100. So it was a risk, but it worked out well. Common approaches to creative thinking. We have two we read about in the book. They have divergent thinking, which they use the analogy is like the gas in the car. It's the go. Okay, there's no judgment. The way I thought of it, it's like a room full of people brainstorming, just throwing ideas on the board. There's someone in front of a whiteboard writing them down, and there's no judgment. Um, the more the merrier. Okay, you just put them out there, you write them down, and it's awesome. I love that creative environment. Everyone feels free, and they're just kind of splurging. So you're hitting the gas. Well, eventually you got to slow down. Okay, you go too fast, you're going to crash. You're just going to have a big mess, and that is convergent thinking, or the brakes to the car, where you're narrowing down the ideas. Kind of siphoning them, put them down a funnel. And people are going to have to play devil's advocate a little bit. Doesn't mean, all ideas, they're not bad ideas, but they might not be the right ideas. And there's going to have to be some judgment involved to these ideas to try and get the best of the creative change process. One area I thought of that really has done well, and I don't know if it was, I guess, kind of luck or whatever, but the home fitness revolution. There's always been home fitness, but the big change in the creative process was being interactive. Of course, this was made possible because of technology. This couldn't have been done 30 years ago, but because of high-speed internet, you're able to have live interactive classes where people can bring awesome equipment home. The example I use is a Peloton bike, but I know there's the same like a Peloton treadmill. And also the Peloton doesn't just do biking classes now. You can actually rotate the screen 180 degrees and do all kinds of interactive classes, which I think is genius. And really, it obviously exploded during COVID because people weren't going to gyms, and it was worked out really, really well. And so this was a great example of a creative change process to an industry that it's huge, but now is a little different.